You're so hypnotic, magical. Don't wanna let you know you're so hypnotic, magical. You're so hypnotic, magical. Don't wanna let you know you're so hypnotic, magical. Don't wanna let you know you're so hypnotic, magical. so hypnotic, magical. Don't wanna let you know you're so hypnotic, magical. Don't wanna let you know you're so hypnotic, magical. You're so hypnotic, magical. Don't wanna let you know you're so hypnotic, magical. let you know you're so hypnotic, magical. You're so hypnotic, magical. Don't wanna let you know you're so hypnotic, magical.
It's another beautiful day here in Cousins Gymnasium on the campus of Tufts University for some NESCAC volleyball as the Jumbos look to bounce back after a 3-0 loss to Wesleyan with a matchup against the Trinity College Bantams out of Hartford, Connecticut. Welcome, everybody, to coverage of NCAA volleyball presented to you by JumboCast. My name is Andrew Howe. Alongside me, my colleague Jordan Burke here for this thrilling NESCAC matchup between two teams that met in the conference tournament last year. It was a 3-0 victory for the Jumbos over the Bantams in the quarterfinals. This time, Trinity looking to turn things around on their opposition's court.
Yeah, Andrew, as you said, in the most recent matchup between these two before today, it was that NESCAC quarterfinal matchup that ended the Bantams' season and was just one of the stepping stones that the Jumbos took towards their NESCAC championship campaign, and inevitably a great run in the NCAA tournament as well. And the Bantams, are in a great position right now because not only have their hitters just been absolutely on fire as a team. Got a little tongue-tied there. As a team, the Bantams have outkilled their opponents by over 50 kills. Their hitting has just been on fire, mainly running through those middles who are yet to hit below the 400 line. I mean, that's just something that's absolutely incredible. And they're getting the Jumbos after coming off of a really hard-fought battle yesterday that did end in a 3-0 sweep for the Wesleyan Cardinals. But the Jumbos, battled through all of it and kind of looked a little sloppy at some points. They had 25 errors committed yesterday, and in sets that were decided by 2 to 4 points. You have to imagine that's the difference maker.
With a lot of new pieces coming into this Jumbos rotation this year, it's taken a couple of attempts to really match up to the level that they've had in years past. But this Jumbos team definitely better than the 2-3 record suggests at this point in the season. They've played against 4 teams that have either received votes in the ABCA polls for the national rankings or were actually ranked in the top 25. So in comparison to Trinity, who's currently sitting at 4-2, maybe against some lower level opponents in terms of the rankings, maybe the Jumbos have a good opportunity here to right the wrongs against the NESCAC opponent in conference play. We're getting ready for tip-off here, our first serve in Cousins Gymnasium. We're going to stand by and honor America with the playing of our national anthem. Now, Jordan, while we did talk about how the Jumbos have tried to figure out who exactly they want to stick into their rotation once we get towards the later months of the season, it seems like Trinity have found a pretty solid system of their own. In the 6-2, there's a very clear 9 players that do rotate in and out incredibly frequently, and the ones who are the stars of the show currently are those middle blockers, Beloyan and Kafizi.
Yeah, Andrew, I mean, they have just been off to an absolute tear so far this season. Beloyan, you look at her numbers, 33 kills, 5 hitting errors on 67 attempts for a 418 clip. Also has 15 blocks, 6 of them being solo blocks. That's just a great way to start your year for her. And as you mentioned, Kafuzi, who's just doing it a little bit better. 49 kills, 9 errors on 82 attempts, almost at that 500 mark. She could easily get there today if given enough opportunities. Also throwing in 13 blocks, 4 of them solo. I mean, what more can you say? That's everything that you could ever want out of your middle blockers.
It's a lot of options here for the two setters on Trinity, Caroline Howell and Grace Sullivan, alongside some of the other outside hitters that they have as well in Lola Craig and Margaret McCarthy. Definitely a lot of options to look at. When you look at Trinity's stats throughout the first 6 games of their season, they match up against their opponents pretty similarly, unless you look at kills, where they have really outpaced their opponents so far.
Yeah, basically across the board, all of these Trinity hitters have more attempts than basically anybody else that we've seen so far covering Jumbo games. Not only are the attempts up there, but the kills numbers are also up there, which has then produced 2 setters who have run a 6-2 for 6 games, and both are almost at that 100 assist mark on the season. That's just, you know, one of the telltale signs of how prolific an offense, how effective an offense this team is running. And it's going to be a challenge for the Jumbos to try and match up against that, you know, establish their block well against these middles who have just been absolutely on fire, and to have the defense lined up properly behind them.
See the team shaking hands, getting ready to go. This will be the first NESCAC matchup for the Trinity Bantams, while the Tufts Jumbos currently sit at 0-1 after that loss to Wesleyan yesterday. Although it was a 3-0, definitely a competitive game, as you said, Jordan. Those errors really making that difference in a matchup that was won by Tufts last time around in the NESCAC championship game. We'll see if the results change this time around, as it is a rematch of the quarterfinals of that same tournament. We mentioned that rotation. What will the starting lineup look like for the Jumbos? Well, it looks like we have our answer right now. Tori Golden, Riley Farragher, Alina Chi, Claire Caster. I think we see Julia Griffiths also in that starting lineup. So although she will be subbed out for Meg Harrison to start off this game in the libero position. So some adjustments right now for the Jumbos, and we'll see if they end up paying off. We see Zoe Gregory also subbing in to start the game at setter.
Yeah, in yesterday's game, the Jumbo started off. Julia Griffiths was sitting out for set number 1. Zoe Gregory was the second setter to be used. Gregory was paired with Emma Heckman in that first set, and Rihanna Liu was paired with Riley Farragher. There were a lot of hitting errors yesterday for the Jumbos, though, so today they're trying to go to someone that, a pairing that has a little bit more experience working with each other. Gregory had all of last season working in that 6-2. And just with a little bit more playing experience under her belt, they're going to pair her off with Farragher in hopes that things change up a little bit.
On the other side for Trinity, about the same as you might expect. We see Scarlett Jago in that libero position, as well as Margaret McCarthy. Back to serve right now is Caroline Howell, the setter, in that 6-2 formation. We're about ready to start things off once again in our NESCAC matchup, as Trinity will serve to start it off. Howell will set up down the middle, and it'll be Bella Kafuzzi to start things off. Those middle blockers once again proving effective, Jordan.
Yeah, as often as possible, this Bantam lineup likes to run their offense through the middle, even with, not so great opportunity there. A little bit of miscommunication on where to locate the ball. Kafuzzi still able to get the ball, put it down, find a spot. Net the first point of the game for the Bantams.
Eva Lekovic is in the game right now for Trinity. Farragher's shot from the right side gets blocked out of bounds, and the Jumbos have their first kill.
The Jumbos have been running a little bit cold on both the outside and the middle positions, especially after if you look back at yesterday's game. Only middle actually, producing a substantial amount of offense was Julia Griffiths, who's on the bench right now, but the right sides got their work in. The top 2 kill leaders came from that right side position, and Farragher starting it off for the Jumbos here today.
Lekovic gets blocked by Farragher and Chi, but the shot does hit the pin, so it will mean that Trinity gets that point to get the serve right back in their favor.
Yeah, kind of an interesting rotation there out of serve receive for the Bantams. Having a lefty like Lekovic hitting from that outside hitter position has a kind of an easier job using the block to her advantage from that spot where the block is trying to set up to take away that cross-court shot, but as a lefty, her body naturally is trying to swing down the line, and right there, just finding the block and using it right.
Service ace for Julia Torrey, who subbed in as that defensive specialist in the back row. A very aggressive server. You see on the season that is her 7th service ace, also has 8 errors.
Yeah, when you're trying to, tread that close to the top of the tape, your serve is going to do one of two things. It's either going to hit the top and roll over, or it's going to hit and stay on your own side. And if you can battle 1-for-1 aces to errors there and also keep a solid amount going over the net, things are just going to run perfectly for you.
Seems like that's where she is aiming, just at the top of the tape. And again, paying off as Farragher's shot does not get over the net.
This is a great setup here by the Bantams. They've targeted the largest cluster of players for the Jumbos, and making Alina Chi, a middle who should not be passing a ball, have to take the first one because of how short these serves are coming in.
So the Jumbos will get a strong swing from Golden down the line, but it lands out of bounds, and the Bantams are up 4-1, 5-1, I should say, to start this first set.
Yeah, they've really just picked their targets perfectly when it has come to this serve receive. It's been one of the Jumbos' weaker points is some of these players don't have the experience passing off of a serve, and when they're coming in hard and low, things are coming up Bantam.
Golden gets another swing, this time finding the line, and the Jumbos finally will break the serve of Torrey. Two to 5 now the score. Alina Chi behind the line to serve. She has 1 ace on the season alongside 3 errors.
Jumbo's getting a quick talking to about how a libero substitution works. Needs to be behind the 10-foot line, can't run in front of it until you get in bounds.
And make that number 2 for Chi as another ace finds her way. Alina Chi, who's had a great start to this season, hitting .311 with 32 kills. Bantams get one back. That was Lola Craig, the outside hitter, coming in with the kill.
Yeah, Craig, one of the captains of this Bantams lineup. Little bit off to a struggling start this year. That kill should put her around the 200 mark in terms of hitting. Last year was, a little bit above that, but, just one of those veteran experiences that you can go back to.
Farragher down the right side is picked up by Jago. Caster with the dig. Gregory looks towards Farragher. The tip is picked up. They go right back to Craig. And the Jumbos will keep this one alive. To the left they go, and Golden will find the hands of Tori. Craig again. A long rally here early in this first set. Golden finds the tip, and the Bantams are unrelenting in their defense. A block up front by Golden and Griffiths will get the Jumbos that point.
Yeah, Lola Craig doing so much work for the Bantams in that previous play. Had Farragher read on the tip perfectly, drop back from the block to pick that one up. Just great defense going all around. That set, though, coming in for the Bantams, just put like a little too close to the net. And when you are, beaten in terms of location there, that ball really only had one place to go. The Jumbos know that's going to go to the right side position. Able to get a nice closed block between Golden and Griffiths doesn't really leave a whole lot of hitting room available for the Bantams' right side hitters. That's going to need to be something to kind of change up a little bit. You've been out-blocked by the Jumbos so far to start this game. Even if the blocks haven't necessarily netted them points immediately, you're still going to have to try and shake things up, maybe change the position of that ball, have your right sides or your outsides play a little bit closer to the pin, or even come into the court just so that they're not taking the same shot repeatedly that the Jumbos can then read.
Service ace comes through. Rihanna Liu, who just entered the game, as the 6-2 makes their way back around. Herself and Emma Heckman coming in and immediately making an impact. Jumbo's looking to tie this one up at 6. Howell, who's remained in the game in that front row, will be able to keep that ball alive. Liu down the middle. Griffith's shot sails a little bit wide. And the Bantams will keep that lead at 2. Substitutions now coming in. So it will be Grace Sullivan, the setter, making her way to the back row, alongside Ellie Gordon, who will be that right side hitter.
6-2 being played by both teams here today, trying to maximize the amount of hitting options that you have in any given rotation. And also, when you have some deeper rosters, giving everybody playing time, trying to see who works, who doesn't work, and, build up some game time as your program will continue.
Liu down the middle, but it's Heckman, the right side hitter, who comes in for her first kill of this game.
Jumbo middles might be struggling, but hitting from the middle position definitely has not been. Yesterday, the Jumbos using their pin hitters in that middle, hitting that 2-ball so effectively. And Heckman, who was off to an incredible run yesterday, comes right back swinging again.
Caster with the roll. Sullivan, once again, looks towards that left side, and Gordon is unable to find a kill. Caster again, picked up by Jago. Going towards the middle, Griffiths with a nice block, keeping that away from Beloyan. And Golden from the back row with a nice dig, as Caster just finds the line on the cross, tying this game up at 7.
Caster struggled a little bit yesterday with the line shot and with a normal just cross shot, but the hard angle was her specialty, going right back to it there, having a block against her, taking away those more comfortable shots, showing off just how much of hitting toolbox she has.
Golden serve sailing out of bounds. She's had to be more of a back row option now, moving over to outside, as she was traditionally a right side hitter to start her career, but that did not result in much success, as the Bantams will retake the lead. Craig back to serve. Liu once again looks for that middle option, and Griffith has yet to find a kill so far. Who will find a kill, though, from that right side is Ellie Gordon.
The Bantams have 2 left-handed right side hitters, which is kind of the more natural position to have your lefties play in the sport of volleyball. They just have so much more options on where to swing from that right side position, and the Jumbos not used to playing against that, given free shots open, and the Bantams capitalizing. My God.
Strong swing from that left side. Claire Caster opening it up.
Yeah, I don't really know what else to say about that. That was something to behold.
Freshman has seen some really solid games, and some games where she has struggled a little bit to adjust as this first year. Taking a look right now, 29 kills. I believe that makes it 30 on the season for her. Liu will find Caster again. Another strong swing. This time is picked up by the Bantams. Roll shot finds the pin, and the Jumbos will tie it up once again.
the Bantams are doing a great job defensively, taking away these strong hits from Claire Caster, making contact. Getting the ball up in the air is definitely going to be beneficial for them. The more you see it, the more you're going to learn to make those small adjustments, take a step in, get some nice height on the passes, and, you know, it'll take some time, but they'll come right back swinging, as they did right there.
That was Ava Bolian, the junior out of American Canyon, California. 418 entering the season in terms of hitting percentages. That number just went up.
Yeah, she'll get back there to serve. Just the excellence from these middle blockers out of the Bantams is something that the Jumbos are going to need to be wary of at any point throughout this game, as they can do it not only from the attack line, but from the service line as well.
Yeah, Trinity outpacing Tufts in terms of service aces per set. Coming in today, 2.2 aces per set. You can see across their stats some errors here and there, but they definitely are more aggressive on the serve. Lou goes over to Heckman on the cross shot. It's a back row attack to keep this point alive. Caster this time unable to find the mark as it sails into the net.
Yeah, just some miscommunications that we started seeing at the end of yesterday's game, where these outside hitters are taking too wide of an approach to some sets. Oh.
Some conversations happening right now between the coaching staff of Trinity and the referees. Seems like there is a little bit confusion about the substitutions that are happening right now.
Well, I believe they're reversing the point call from a Bantam's point to a Jumbo point because of a net violation.
Score right now reading 12-9. Make it 13. Oh.
13
to
12
10.
12
to 10.
It was just 11-9. They hadn't adjusted the score, and now it should be 12-10. Each team getting a point.
The scores are.
Yeah. So what happened on the Claire Caster hit that went into the net as she was, drifting to the left, trying to swing to the right? Despite the fact that the ball did not go over, there was a net violation called, I believe, against Margaret McCarthy for the Bantams. So that resulted in a Jumbo point. We saw their 6-2 substitution come in, and then right there you saw the beautiful right side swing. The Jumbos giving that line shot, giving all the angles in the world to those Bantams right side hitters.
Alina Chi enters right back as she has entered the game. Gregory also making her way back in with Farragher. 12-11 here in this first set between two NESCAC opponents. It's Claire Caster, the outside hitter, back to serve. Howell has re-entered the game. They go right to that right side as McCarthy sends it over. Farragher with a strong swing ties the game up again.
Yeah, I mean, both teams just have such strong right side hitters so far today. The Bantams having a little bit of an edge so far in that position, but I'm noticing some interesting things with their lineup. Despite the fact that you do have Lekovic in, the left-handed hitter, who's been playing primarily right side, whenever the outside hitters are in that 2 position, they're instead hitting from the right side and letting the lefties roll on the outside.
Kill over to Bella Cafuzzi as that ball sails out of bounds after the Jumbos mishandling that one. So Trinity retakes the lead, a very close matchup. Remember, this was a 3-0 Jumbo victory last time these two teams faced off. But right now, Tufts struggling to find some solid momentum early in this game. Farragher with a push. What a find on the cross shot, right short of that line to get that point.
Yeah, the Jumbo's going with a front one, back one stack right there. But due to the nature of the pass, Zoe Gregory having to move too far over to the right, the back one gets eliminated, and a front run just becomes the ball for Riley Farragher. Executing smartly there, was still moving with tempo, trying to get to the ball, threw it over. It's a little shame that the Jumbos haven't been able to find themselves a run. They tie up the game and then hand it right back over. Small errors still coming out from them today.
Gregory to Griffith. That's been a combination we've seen. An attempt at a dump, but a net violation was called. The Jumbos will get the point.
Yeah, that one, just a little bit of an awkward motion coming out from the middle. Beloyan there having to reach behind her in order to grab the ball and appearing to kind of catch it. So carry couldn't be called against her for that. The Jumbos trading errors, the service error followed by just a hitting error from the Bantams. Everything tied up at 14. One team needing to kind of take a stand, start making a run.
We'll see if it happens here with Rihanna Liu behind the service line. Lola Craig just pushing that ball over. as another attempt to try to find Griffiths in the middle. But she has not been able to get a kill across yet, hitting the net, giving that lead over to Trinity.
Yeah, there's just some small errors coming in right now between the center-middle connection of Lou and Griffiths. Griffiths a little slow to get up in the air, and Lou also giving just a smaller height on the set. It's close. It's just, a matter of inches in order to be the difference maker between that ball going into the net and going over.
Sullivan re-entering the game down the middle, but Beloyan is blocked by Julia Griffiths.
Yeah, Julia Griffiths definitely did her homework on how the Jumbos like to run their offense. Any pass that could potentially go to the middle, those have been the hotter hitters all season long. You can see right there perfectly timing the block, getting up in the air for that solo.
Sullivan this time goes over to her left, and Ellie Gordon will pick up a kill.
Yeah, again, it's one of those weird rotations that the Bantams have been running where their outside hitters only play outside for 2 rotations and then play right side for that one time that they're in that spot normally, and the same deal for the right sides. The right sides, whenever they're in the 3 or the 2, will play right side, but when they're in that 4, hitting outside. And having that change up from a right-handed hitter versus a left-handed hitter, if you're not reading it by the Jumbos, it's adjustments that you're not going to be able to make that the Bantams can take advantage of.
Substitution for Trinity, Kayla David entering the game to serve. She's been a defensive specialist for the team so far this season. Lou once again to Griffiths. This time she's able to succeed in that attempt.
Yeah, right there you can see the difference being made. Just a little bit more height. Griffiths being, the tallest girl on this Jumbo's roster, and, having, I believe, a 3-inch difference between her and Alina Chi in terms of just raw height. A little bit more getting added on by vertical jump as well. You do need to, realize which middle you're working with at that time, make the adjustments that can be necessary.
Oh, what a save by Golden. Keeping that ball alive here for the Jumbos. Sullivan looks over to her left. Another block by Chi and Heckman. This time to the right side, and Gordon will send it down.
Yeah, the Jumbos are just not making the adjustment they need to against a left-handed hitter from this right side position. You can see them giving the line shot away every single time, but the defense behind the block is not adjusting properly. Meg Harrison playing behind the block instead of covering that line shot herself is just giving enough space for these right side hitters of the Bantams to find the floor.
Chi's swing goes a little wide, out of bounds. 18-16 is now the lead here for Trinity. We're getting later into this first set. The Jumbos have not won a set this weekend here in Cousins. Nice read there by Harrison and Golden. That's a service error for the Bantams. The Jumbos answer right back.
Yeah, but the question is it too little, too late? We've seen so far throughout this entire set just trading points back and forth. 1-1, 1-1, 1-1. The Bantams able to put up a two-service streak means that if that continues to happen, it's a win-by-2 situation. They will hit that mark. The Jumbos need to really put together a solid couple of points.
McCarthy is blocked. Jumbo's keeping the ball alive. Farragher with the swing from the right side is tipped and kept alive by Jago. Jumbo's now with a nice opportunity. Gregory looks for Chi. Another dig by the libero Jago. Joust up front is won by the Jumbos, but the Bantams unable to keep it alive. That was Castor and Chi contributing for that point.
The Bantams so close to keeping that one alive. Great defense by the falling right side hitter, Ellie Gordon, to even make the play as she lost the joust battle. Thought that the ball might have stayed on her own side, try to go up for a swing, but not necessarily able to get there in time for that one. Great job by the Jumbos.
Oh, another almost rejection there for the Jumbos, but it will be that middle in Kafuzi sending that one down and giving the lead right back to the Bantams.
Yeah, again, in these, critical point situations where, it's a tie game, 18-18, you need to win one back and then start the run to close out set number 1 of today's matchup. They're going to go to the stronger hitters that they have on the lineup, and Kafuzi, who has just put herself over that 500 threshold, kills per attempt. I mean, she's just been incredible so far.
The lowest hitting percentage she's had this year is .385, and that would be a strong mark for anybody in NCAA volleyball. Farragher with her hands in the air, and she just tied this game up once again.
Yeah, no block against her as she ran from the middle. Great job by Alina Chi to sell that she was getting the ball. Farragher, a little confused as to whether or not she was getting it at first, but once she saw no block against her and the high set in the air, knew that was all her to find the floor. That should be a double. Yep, that'll come in.
And another strong serve from Claire Castor. That was a really strong point for her in high school. 70 service aces her senior year. She gives the Jumbos the lead, and a timeout is going to have to be called by Coach Jen Bowman.
Okay, Andrew, I'm going to give you the choice here. Which one do I start out with? What's happening in the Trinity conversation right now, or what's happening in the Jumbo conversation?
Well, let's see what Trinity's thinking right now, because they've had the lead for the majority of this first set.
Okay, if you're Trinity, as you said, you've just had the lead the majority of the time, and it was just ever so close, the difference between you being in the lead right now, 2019, versus being behind 2019. Just one small error coming out from Caroline Howell, not able to make a steady enough set, as it was a little bit of an off pass. The whole conversation right now is just we've been playing a little bit better brand of volleyball. The reason that the Jumbos have been getting the ball back has primarily been some of those errors coming out from Trinity defensively, just not making great enough passes, and the Jumbo block. So the conversation is, let's just tighten up, be a little bit more standard in a sense with what we're doing attack-wise. Let's not try to run anything super crazy. Let's go to the hitters who are running hot right now. And in the middle, you have the matchup that you want against Alina Chi as opposed to Julia Griffiths, who's been doing the better job blocking so far today. The middles should be where I would expect the ball to go to right now. Even if it's a slightly off pass, just put it in a spot where the middle right now for the Bantams is Bella Kafuzi can just get up in the air and try and make, not even necessarily a swing, just get the ball over and then reestablish the block against whatever Jumbo hitter tries to come out with. As we're about to come back in, I'll very quickly say the Jumbos are going to be basically saying the same thing. The ball should be going to the middle here for the Bantams. They want to win this one really bad, and they're going to go to their strongest hitter on the court right now, which is that middle position. I would imagine that it's something along the lines of let's creep our pin hitters in a little bit, so if we see the ball start to go to the middle, instead of having a one-on-one matchup, we can instead get 6 hands up in the air ready to block.
You can see Tori Golden just having a quick conversation with the coaching staff as she made her way back onto the court. We'll see if there's a set play run just to stuff the middle on the Jumbo defense. They actually go over to the right, and Margaret McCarthy has her shot sail out of bounds. The Jumbo's getting their point regardless. Some mind games here, Jordan.
Yeah, that's one of the few situations where I believe they were trying to go middle the whole time. You could see Lekovic from that outside position was not really ready to take an approach at all, and Kafuzi screaming for the ball the whole time. But the pass just a little bit off that they couldn't do anything with it.
Attempt at a dump is picked up. Chi. Shot is recovered. They go over to Lekovic here. Kept alive. Gregory looks to Golden on that left side. The shot is tipped. What a dig in the back row to keep that shot alive. Farragher will send it down, though, and the Jumbos are pulling away with this one here in the first.
The Jumbos are just playing a little bit scrappier right now. You saw the plays happening right on top of the net. Neither team really deciding what it is they wanted to do there. Lekovic ending up sending that one back over. Not sure if that was the best call. Probably could have flicked the ball up in the air and tried to give herself an opportunity to swing instead of push. Maybe even just try to push deep corner instead. Might have been a little bit better. But regardless, Andrew, you mentioned the save coming in the back row from Kayla David there. Hasn't had a whole lot of playing time, but when she has been on, has been extremely effective, reaching double-digit dig marks with that last one that she just had, but also the only Bantam on the team to have a 1,000 receiving percentage off of serve receive with over double-digit attempts. Whenever she's been on the court, she has made it a known factor that she is there to provide a stellar level of defense.
Yeah, there are some teams around here in the NESCAC or throughout NCAA Division III that do have a lot of these defensive specialists. The Jumbo's not necessarily one of them, although Allegra Eam can always come in and play some solid defense in that back row. But you see Julia Torrey, Bella Nash, Maggie Barnes, and of course Kayla David, who just had that spectacular dig. The substitutions run very rampant here within this Trinity team. They always want to make sure they have their best players on the court in their respective positions.
Yeah, I think right there that conversation in the timeout was just to kind of reiterate the same points they were trying to make happen from the first timeout of we need to get Kafuzi running. Give us some good passes that we can at least try to make a play on to the middle.
Castor still behind the line. Jumbo's up 3 here in this first set, but it will just be a free ball. Kafuzi gets it, but not in a strong opportunity. Farragher does, though, but the back row keeping that alive. McCarthy sends it over. Gregory looking for Chi down the middle. Does it land on the line? Yes, it does. Another point for the Jumbos. They've won 5 in a row.
Yeah, so right there you can see the Jumbos kind of executing what the Bantams are trying to. Even if the pass isn't necessarily the perfect ball to give to the middle, try and force it there anyway just to get them rolling, have them, start to feel themselves, get back into the mojo, the swing of things. But when the passes coming in from the Bantams aren't even getting in front of the 10-foot line, there's nothing you can do.
And Chi proving a big factor there on the defensive end as that overpass brings the Jumbos to set point. They'll have 5 of them here as Castor has had a terrific run here on serve. Kafuzi calls for it. They send it right down the middle, but Harrison with a beautiful dig keeps that one alive. Golden partially blocked. The whistle blows, and the point will go to the Jumbos off the violation. Kafuzi picks up a foul, and the Jumbos take this first set 25-19.
Yeah, but a hard-fought 25-19, trading points back and forth up until that very last moment where we saw the Bantams use both of their timeouts to try and get things rolling. They try to get the ball to Kafuzi to run her through the middle, and the one time they get the opportunity to run her on that one ball, everybody in the gym knew it was going there. Great dig by Meg Harrison to keep that one up. Upsetting that the set ends off of a net violation, but if you're the Bantams, you have every piece of this offense that you need in order to keep going. You just have to tighten up those defensive passes that came in at the end off of serve receive. If you're able to just make one solid pass, get the ball to a middle, get the ball to the right sides who've been working really well today, everything should just be coming up Bantams, so long as they can fix some of the small errors they've had off of serve receive.
A hard-fought first set, but the Jumbos take their first one of the weekend here in Medford. We're going to take a short break. We'll be right back with more NESCAC volleyball action only on JumboCast.
So hypnotic, magical. Don't wanna let you know you're so hypnotic, magical.
Welcome back here to Cousins Gymnasium here on the campus of Tufts University. Tufts winning this first set 25-19 over their conference rivals in the Trinity Bantams. My name is Andrew Howe. I'm joined alongside a new addition to the JumboCast team, Jake Flossie, here to step in and give some analysis here in this second set. Jake, how are you doing?
I'm doing well, Andrew. I just want to say, first off, Tufts did an excellent job in that last set to close off the lead and pull ahead, which they really struggled with last night against Wesleyan. A great improvement from the Jumbos there.
Yeah, you noticed a lot of those sets versus Wesleyan very, very close. It was 25-21, 25-19, things like that. But this time it was 19-18 in favor of Trinity late in that first set. The Jumbos were able to answer back with a bunch of really strong points back to back off the serve of Claire Castor.
Yep. And the Jumbos definitely seemed to limit the errors in that section as well. They didn't have any service errors. Evidently, Castor served 7 points in a row. Additionally, the errors just kind of hitting the net, things like that were keeping the Jumbos tight with Trinity. They slowed down and allowed them to just execute good plays and pull ahead.
Now on Trinity's side, it's been pretty well documented that the middles are where they like to play through a lot on the offensive end. Do you think that the game plan changes at all going into this second set?
I think that they really need to make sure to focus on executing more plays and getting to Kalfuzi especially, but also Bullion, and just making sure to play their style of volleyball.
We started off here in this second set, a nice dig by the libero Jago to keep that one alive for the Bantams. Farragher down the middle is blocked, and Bella Kafuzi makes her presence known to open up this set.
Yeah, we were just speaking about Kafuzi. She's a powerful middle blocker there and managed to shut down the Jumbo's standard stack, which often yields great results for them, but shut down there by Kafuzi.
6 solo blocks entering today off of just 6 games. That's an impressive stat in any league, really.
Yeah.
1-0 Trinity lead. Alina Chi on that right side is picked up. Craig sends a shot over. The Jumbos will recover. They go down on the back row attack, and Kafuzi once again blocks it all on her own.
Kafuzi showing why she was the Bantam Athlete of the Week last week and why she's such a dominant middle blocker there.
See on that replay right there, just perfectly timed. That back row attack from Golden is not going to fly against this Trinity defense. Gregory looks for Castor, another block, but the Jumbos will keep that one up. A joust is won here by Kafuzi, and she is really taking over on the defensive end for Trinity.
That's one of the keys for Trinity to pull ahead in this game, is to really have their middles, like you're talking about, have their middles get into the game and show how good they are. Kafuzi at 6'3" is taller than any of the Jumbos out there and is really proving her height advantage.
We'll see if the Jumbos adjust their offensive strategy here. Castor with a serve receive keeps it alive, but pretty easy recovery here for the Bantams. They go towards the right side now, and that's Eva Lekovic making it 4-0.
A beautifully well executed play from Trinity off of a struggle on the serve receive from Tufts. That's just well done.
Julia Torrey back to serve here for the Bantams. Has been a really nice run with her, but it ends here. That serve lands out of bounds as Harrison will call it out.
Now the Jumbos need to capitalize this moment to get some momentum back. They've been shut down at the net repeatedly. They need to earn this point right here to stay in this match.
And they have Castor, who ended that first set behind the line at the serve. We'll see if Trinity is able to get a point back in a more dominant way. Not just yet, though, as Craig's shot is blocked by Farragher and Chi. They go over to that right side this time, and Lekovic once again answers for the Bantams.
The Jumbos doing a good job getting up in the net that time, but well done from Lekovic to use the block to her advantage and earn the point for Trinity.
The junior out of San Marino, California, Eva Lekovic, 40 kills entering today, hitting .214. That number certainly going up after that one. Farragher on the right side, nice cross, but it's picked up by the Bantams. They go to Craig, but her shot goes into the net. The Jumbos pick up their second point of this second set. Alina Chi with a service ace and an error here today.
Oh.
And it just lands on the corner. You saw the Bantams pulling away from that. They thought that was out.
Yeah, and that was a very close call. Well done by the linesman to spot that.
She playing very aggressive on the serve this time. Will get picked up. They once again look for Lekovic, but Griffiths and Tori Golden with a solid block, as that third shot's not going to go over. The Jumbo's proven that they can play up front as well.
You got to respect the hustle there from Trinity. They had a really rough play to get into that and almost were able to pop it over, but weren't quite able to.
Service run from Chi going well so far. Howell looks down the middle as Beloyan has entered the game here. Golden with a very interesting cross. Tried to catch the Bantams off guard. That shot landing just on the line as well. As Trinity retaking that lead, they extend it to 2 at 6-4.
An interesting combination of both sides using that hard angle shot. Trinity managing to pull it off just slightly better.
Substitutions here. Ellie Gordon entering the game as Grace Sullivan, the junior out of Fort Worth, Texas, goes back to serve. Both teams again playing in that 6-2. Leaves as many right side hitters, as many offensive options as possible. Castor with an overpass. It's knocked right back down by Beloyan. It's 7-4.
It's a beautiful serve from Sullivan there to place it right, dropping down. So it's tough dig for Castor, and Beloyan capitalizes on it.
Grace Sullivan has had a service ace in every game that the Bantams have played so far this season, and she adds to that tally again, 7th in a row. Gregory looks over to Farragher on that right side, partially blocked, kept up by Jago, and sent over by Gordon. Farragher once again, this time on a tip. They go towards Gordon again, but Griffiths and Golden with a huge block.
As you mentioned, the 6-2 allows for more options on that right side, but it doesn't matter how many options you have on the right side when that block is too good from Griffiths and Golden.
You have Julia Griffiths, your taller middle blocker option, and Tori Golden, your taller outside option. Now Emma Heckman entering the game. She's also 6'3", so the block is going to be an incredibly important factor here for the Jumbos.
Definitely.
See right there, almost paying off, but Griffiths was on her own. And that one-on-one duel was won by Beloy in the middle.
And that is the advantage of the quick one. It doesn't allow the middle to become a triple block or a double block. It forces an isolated block, and Bolian is able to capitalize on that.
Kayla David, who had a terrific first set, comes back into this one in the second with her team up 3. Rihanna Liu has entered the game. Heckman finds a spot and picks up her first kill of this second set.
Yeah, she was lethal last night and needs to definitely get into her rhythm today for the Jumbos to have a good day.
These freshmen here for the Jumbos have had some really solid games and also some games where their greenness does show a little bit. So far for Heckman, the second set working well. Beautiful dig by Harrison to keep that ball alive. Caster sends it over with 2 hands, but Trinity will be able to recover. They go over to Gordon on that right side, and they answer right back for the Jumbos. Heckman with a strong swing. McCarthy is dug up by Golden. Both teams playing incredible defense right now here in this extended rally. A block is called here, but a net violation on Julia Griffiths will give the point over to the Bantams.
Kind of an anticlimactic way to end that really good play there, but a lot of impressive defense from both sides, showing why your libero is often your best defensive player.
Trinity lead has stayed around 2 or 3 throughout this second set. See the back row of defensive specialists working very well for the Bantams so far. A strong swing by Heckman, but Liu keeps it alive off the block. Caster's shot sails wide, and the Bantams are the first to hit double digits.
And Calfuzzi picks up right where she left off with that block, coming in to assist the block on the side. Just a brutal presence there in the middle.
Cora Thompson looking to experiment a little bit with the lineup now. Brittany Bennett entering the game for the first time, subbing out Julia Griffiths. See, early on in the season, the Jumbos have a lot of options to work with and pieces to consider. We'll see if Bennett gets an opportunity, but instead it's the setter dump from Rihanna Liu. That's been a play that she's done a lot so far in her Jumbo career.
Yeah, and it works really well, especially with the block that's been so dominant, especially from Calfuzzi. To do the setter dump is a great way to get around that.
Harrison on the serve. Sullivan goes over to McCarthy. Nice dig by Golden, keeps it alive. Liu looks over to her left, and Caster on the cross is dug out by Jago. And a nice find by Ellie Gordon. The Bantams unrelenting here in this second set.
Yeah, we've seen a very improved Trinity Bantams right here. They're really just executing everything they're trying to do. Their block has been phenomenal, and yeah, they're looking solid right now. Going to take some good adaptations to that block from the Jumbos, and we might see that through Brittany Bennett.
Now remember, this was a similar lead that Trinity had in the first set. The Jumbos were able to make a pretty significant comeback later, and it might have just started there. What a swing from Emma Heckman on that right side.
Yeah.
Freshman out of San Diego, California, hitting .235 to start the year. Had 6 kills and 6 blocks in the Jumbo's first game out west against Colorado College. So can play a little offense, a little defense. And right there, a big offensive showing. McCarthy is dug up, and Farragher sends it over. They now look to Lekovic on the left. And Alina Chi sends it right down.
It's a beautiful quick one. And again, they're trying to figure out ways to get around Kalfuzi, and in this time, playing the quick allows Chi to get up and deliver a beautiful kill.
11-9 is the score here in the second set. A free ball available. Gregory looks over to Caster. A nice dig on that back row, but some miscommunication there between McCarthy and Jago on who would wanted to pick up that second shot.
And that's a textbook example of how to capitalize on a free ball. An easier ball comes over from the Bantams. The Jumbos are able to run a beautiful play, resulting in eventually a point.
Serve from Gregory sails out of bounds as the Bantams will hold their lead, at least for the time being.
And those service errors were what cost them a lot last night, and they've been generally doing a better job of keeping them down today, but yeah, like you said, another example of some possible greenness from Zoe Gregory.
Gregory had 36 service aces last year, but 42 errors, so
Yeah.
definitely playing on those margins at times, as we have also seen on the other end for Trinity. Julia Torrey, the prime suspect here. We'll see if that serve finds the tape once again. It seems like that's what she's been aiming for here in this set. Some communications with the scorers table.
I'm not quite sure what's happening right now, but
It's interesting because the Jumbos also play a 6-2, so this should be pretty common practice at the scorers table.
Yeah.
Just based off of how they play, but it seems like just a little confusion of maybe where the substitutions are happening or who exactly is coming in, because Trinity also is running some DSs, so.
yeah. And the Bantam rotation has generally seemed quite effective. Both sides showing why they favor the 6-2, getting lots of nice right side hits. But the scorers table seems a little bit confused with what's going on right now. So allows both teams to consult with their coaches and try to adapt to what the other teams are facing, along with the Jumbos doing some nice chants on the sideline.
Yeah, that's something that they're well known for. Always have their unique celebrations and ways to keep themselves energized here. Of course, it's a Saturday morning after you just played a pretty tough 3-set loss to one of your biggest rivals in Wesleyan.
Yeah, so keeping the energy up is definitely important for the Jumbos, and they seem to be doing a good job of that so far.
Torrey back to serve. Torrey Golden on the other side with the receive. A nice block by Kafuzi once again, but Harrison is able to push that one over. Lekovic is blocked. Nice effort there by Chi and Caster. They'll try it again, but this time Eva Lekovic finds an opportunity right through the Jumbo blockers.
They've got a bit of a height advantage on that side with Chi and Caster being among the smaller of the Jumbo's attackers. So they keep going there, and eventually it works out.
Torrey has her serve land just wide off the sideline. The Jumbos will get it right back.
As you mentioned, she likes to play in those margins, and it's worked well, but it comes back to bite her there.
Caster back to serve. Jumbo's looking to tie this one up. She'll shove it. Hit the tape of her own. Service ace there for Claire Caster. Ties this set up.
You always need a little bit of luck when playing these things, and a serve like that can really turn the tide momentum-wise.
Yeah.
So
one of those things, there's really nothing you can do if you're the Trinity defense. Just gotta kind of
shrug it
acknowledge
off.
that that happens. They have not changed the score. Okay, there it is, 13-13 on the big scoreboard up there. As there's some more consultation between the Trinity coaching staff and the referees. Looks like we're about ready to start things off once again. The Jumbos tied up with Trinity in a set they trailed, by as much as 4.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been excellent for the Jumbos to recover from a very similar deficit they faced last set and seeing some good resilience. I imagine this will continue to be a close game as both sides are looking solid in certain areas and definitely had some struggles. The Bantam's block has been lethal, though it has calmed down a little bit lately. Yet to see any crazy hustle plays, but some just good scrappiness from both sides. keeping this game interesting. Seems like a bit longer of a break than expected right now.
It's been already a long journey for the Jumbos early on in this season. They've played a number of top 25 opponents. They've went out to California, all the way across the country just to play against some more top teams. And now, in a pretty fierce matchup against a team that they handled in the conference quarterfinals. But right now, Trinity, who finished 9-14 last year, certainly putting up a heck of a fight.
And they've had a much better season this year so far. They're currently 4-2 coming into this match. Haven't faced any ranked opponents, but have looked pretty solid, winning 3 of those games 3-0. Then they just coming off of a really tough loss 3-2 to Coast Guard, in which they were trailed 2-0, managed to come back to tie it, and ended up losing in the final set. So this team is definitely not one to be written off, and we're seeing that right now. They're keeping toe-to-toe with the Jumbos.
Yeah, the Coast Guard has been a team the Jumbos have also played pretty closely as well. So a tough opponent, of course, from a different conference, but one that Trinity was able to play pretty competitively in that non-conference matchup. On the other side, the Jumbos have this game and then I think are off for the rest of the weekend as they have another couple of home games later on in this week.
I believe UC Santa Cruz and RIT come out to Cousins next weekend. Those will be fun to watch. Tune on JumboCast again next weekend to check those out.
Absolutely. And on the other side, talk about a matchup between Tufts and Trinity. Another one happening right now in Hartford as the football team.
Yes.
So the Jumbos are opening up their season currently. Last time I checked, the Bantams did have the edge over the Jumbos. However, a very exciting new season for Tufts on their end in terms of football. We'll have coverage of their game, their home opener, homecoming weekend, here on JumboCast next Saturday.
Definitely tune in for that. That should be an exciting one.
Looks like they're still conferring over what exactly is going on in terms of the substitutions. We're going to step aside for just a couple of minutes while we wait to see how this issue is resolved here on JumboCast. Welcome back here to Cousins. We apologize for the extended delay here in this second set. Turns out there was a scoring error on the card. The score now reads Trinity 13, Tufts 12. We're going to start play right off once again as Lola Craig sends the ball over. Gregory now looks over to Riley Farragher. She sends a kill down the Jumbo's way. Here with Jacob Flossie once again. Jacob, as somebody who's played before, how hard is it to kind of recenter yourself after such a long break?
It's definitely a challenge, especially when you're not quite sure what's going on. It's really easy to get distracted and lose your mindset of being heavily focused in the game, because volleyball is a sport that requires immense amounts of focus, like to get that serve over, to get that perfect dig. So it's really important that the players get their mindsets back and are able to get themselves recentered after this extended break.
Nice job by the Jumbos to keep that block out of bounds there. Caster is back to serve. Jumbos now with the lead as an overpass does result in another kill. She and Golden contributing to sending that one right back.
And that's a play that you love to see as a outside or middle or any blocker really. You love to see a bad pass that pops up right to you. It's the easiest play to set down and well executed from Chi and Golden.
On that right side is Lekovic getting another point back to the Bantams.
And Lekovic is leading the Bantams right now with kills. She's up to 7 now. A strong game from her.
6-2 working its way back around here for Trinity as we see Beloyan making her way to the front row. We also have Sullivan entering the game once again. And a big kill by Tori Golden. Jumbo's answering right back. We've continued to go back and forth here in this second set.
Both teams have put together some nice plays, getting some nice hits in. A bit of a gap in the Trinity defense there as they were confused by the Jumbo's setup of the hitters, allowing Golden to get a not free but relatively uncontested hit.
And we've seen once again, as soon as one team gets a serve, the other team with a beautiful reception will just get it right back. Lekovic once again bringing the ball right back to the Trinity side.
Agreed. The serve receives have been excellent so far today, keeping, especially from Jago, who's been playing very well in the libero position, keeping the team afloat.
Sullivan back to serve. They go to Bennett, who has to extend her right arm a little bit to get that ball over. On that right side, it is Gordon. It gets picked up by the Jumbos. Golden with a block attempt, but the Jumbos will get that one hitting the pin.
And we see Rihanna Liu and Emma Heckman coming back in, continuing that 6-2 rotation. Liu has been one of the top servers for the Jumbos so far this season. She's on 8 serve aces coming into this game, and we'll see if she can add to some more.
Yeah, has really emerged as a solid player on a team with a lot of setters, and you can see right there her favorite option right down the middle, Brittany Bennett picking up a kill.
Yeah, again, that quick is really stumping the Trinity defense, allowing them to get some really uncontested hits in. Beautiful hit from Bennett, earning the kill.
Liu with another nice serve. Jago able to keep that one alive. A block right there by Heckman and Bennett means that Gordon's shot's unable to find the floor.
We were just talking about how this is going back and forth, but since Liu's coming to serve, the Jumbos have pulled ahead. Now it's 19-15. Well done from them.
And a quick timeout called here by the Bantams. Ever since that stoppage in play, the Jumbos have went on a 7-2 run, mostly off of that service run right here by Rihanna Liu.
Definitely. The Jumbos, like we were talking, it's important to keep their focus. The Jumbos definitely have. I wouldn't argue that Trinity has done much bad. It's just the Jumbos have been a bit stronger. Their blocks have worked a lot better than they have so far in the game. They've got, I believe, 2 in that last stretch of points. And when you get your blocks working, it's a real morale booster, allowing the team to move forward well.
Taking a look at some of those stats here as we are winding down this second set. On the Trinity side, it hasn't really been the middle blockers getting a lot of those offensive options. It seems like the Jumbos have read the game plan and have adjusted quite well. It is the right side hitters right now. Lekovic alongside,
I believe that's Ellie Gordon.
Ellie Gordon, that are getting a lot of these options right now for the Bantams.
Yeah, The middles have been strong in the blocks, but you're right, they haven't necessarily got the kills that the Bantams would be hoping they would get. So that's one of the keys for the Bantams to, if they want to get back in this game, they got to get those middles more involved. They started this set off really well, but I feel like we haven't seen too much of them in the last couple points.
Yeah, it's really, again, as we were saying, it's been those right side hitters, been those pin hitters really getting a large portion of those offensive opportunities for Trinity.
And now the key, they have to break loose serve and move on with their rotation.
Sullivan this time will find that right side in Gordon, and they're not able to get that one up in time. The Jumbos continuing their run with Rihanna Liu behind the line.
That's just unfortunate for Trinity. They got to get that higher up on that hit. When you're stuck in a rotation, you just got to get it over and keep the play going. Sometimes you can't go for those tough hits. You just got to keep the play going.
Gordon sends it over. Harrison looks over for Heckman on the cross. And the freshman once again showcasing her offensive capabilities.
Yeah, she's really got that cross-court shot nailed. She slides it in just in front of the defender there, making it a tough shot, but definitely gettable. But the power on that just made it hard for the Bantam defense to respond.
A huge run right now for the Jumbos, and a nice attempt there by Sullivan to keep that one alive. But it will again be Rihanna Liu's serve, proving valuable. 22-15, another timeout called here by Trinity. They seemingly cannot stop the Jumbos late in the second set.
And this is where I think a very well called timeout there from the Trinity coach, because like we said, volleyball is a game of momentum, and being able to stop the momentum and get your players' heads right, get them to be able to break loose serve. Also, serving off of a timeout is not always the easiest thing, so just trying to get some way in and stop this dominant streak lose on.
Again, ever since that stoppage, it was 13-12. What is it, a 9-2 run, or 10-2 run have opened up right now by the Jumbos.
And this is mirroring somewhat what we saw last set. It was, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it was 18-17, and then the Jumbos pulled ahead to win 25-19. This time 13-12, now 22-15. The Jumbos have shown excellent grit in the middle of the sets, and near the end to pull ahead and distinguish themselves from the Bantams.
And again, a big development from what we saw yesterday, where they weren't able to close out those sets against Wesleyan. It just continued to be that back and forth until eventually the Cardinals took over. And we'll see if the Jumbos, of course, against Trinity, who not as strong of a pedigree over the last couple of years as a school like Wesleyan, but if they can keep this momentum as they go throughout the rest of their regular season, will certainly be a good sign.
Yeah. And you also wonder what the absence of Maddie you had to play with last night, because often you look to your players with leadership to help in those like middle game grit moments, but they seem to have picked it up better today.
Golden sending it over. Sullivan will look towards the middle, and finally the Bantams get on the board off of that shot from Bullion.
Just unlucky from Bennett there on the net violation. We haven't seen too many of those, and the ones we've seen have been arguably crucial points lost by the Bantams, but they get one back off of a Tufts error.
Yeah, you mentioned that loss earlier from Maddie Youth. She's feeling a little bit under the weather, we've heard, for this weekend, alongside Christina Odette, of course, who's dealing with a bit of an injury. So the Jumbos have really had to adjust to start off this regular season, and while there have been some ups and downs, we're certainly in that up portion right now as Heckman slams another one down.
Certainly, yeah. And we've seen setters like Rihanna Liu and Zoe Gregory stepping up and use absence. And as we've mentioned, Liu has been playing excellent these last couple points. And, yeah.
23-16, Golden on the serve, but now it goes to Heckman once again on that right side. Jago sends it up. And a nice roll attempt there by McCarthy keeps that shot alive. A dive by the Bantams, but it's quickly recovered. A nice job by Trinity to keep this point alive. They go to Harrison in that back row. They look to Heckman on the right side, and a huge block. That's McCarthy and Bullion contributing to that rejection.
I just want to highlight Grace Sullivan's defensive play that round, that play. She made a nice dig off of a characteristic Heckman cross court, and then a beautiful dive to save off of a block, and then managing to set up the kill at the end. Really well done from Grace Sullivan. The the junior out of Fort Worth, Texas.
Yeah, and another point right now by the Bantams. Sullivan, of course, alongside Howell, when you're in that 6-2, you do have to play a little bit more on that defensive end, getting digs, as well as, being able to pass the ball.
Yeah, and the Trinity team also adapted well to make sure that when their setter was out, they still got the ball over.
A strong swing by Claire Castor from that left side. That brings the Jumbos to set point here in the second. They're up 6, and they have their libero, Meg Harrison, back to serve.
And Harrison's one of their most consistent servers. She always seems to get the ball over and in play, so.
We'll see how Trinity can return this one. They go right to their middle blocker in Kafuzi. They look now over to McCarthy, but the shot will get blocked and will not find its way over to Tufts territory, and the Jumbos will take this one 25-18.
As well done by the Jumbos. It's the second set we've seen lost by Trinity on a bit of an error, which is an unfortunate way to lose a set, but the Jumbos, again, the main story of that is how they pulled away from that 12-13 kind of standstill into 25-18. That 10-2 run was brutal. Brianna Liu's serve just kept them in the game, just kept them going, and just pounding Trinity down. It's an excellent run for the Jumbos.
Another strong end to that second set. We'll see if the Jumbos can close it out here in the third. Jake Flossie, thank you so much for joining us here. We'll be sure to see more of you on more Tufts volleyball games and beyond later on in this year. We're going to take a short break. We'll see if the Jumbos can close it out here in the third.
You're so hypnotic, magical. Don't wanna let you know you're so hypnotic, magical.
Welcome back, everybody, to Cousins Gymnasium here on the campus of Tufts University. The third set about to take place between the Tufts Jumbos and the Trinity College Bantams in the SCAC volleyball play. Andrew Howe on the call, joined alongside Jordan Burke, who's returning for this third set. The Jumbos winning that second one 1 point better than they did in the first, 25-18, as they look to close out a sweep in what has been a pretty competitive back-and-forth matchup between these two NESCAC teams.
Yeah, Andrew, exactly as you said, just taking that one step in the better direction, having that 1 point difference, largely on the back of a kind of shift that we saw come in from the Jumbos. They stopped going to their middles as often. You know, the first couple of points of set number 2 resulted in points for the Bantams off of massive blocks, coming off of back row attacks, front row attacks. And the second that the Jumbos kind of stepped away from that and started really getting their pin hitters involved consistently, you know, going 3 times in a row to the outside before shaking things up and going right side or middle, really did start to establish you know, the large point growth that we saw for them.
See similar lineups here to open up the third set. The Jumbos on the receive. A strong swing from Farragher to open things up. Puts the Jumbos early on the board.
Riley Farragher from the middle. It's a 2-ball. I mean, you just see it so often, and every single time just takes the same approach every single time, no matter how many blockers are up against her, and somehow is just always able to find a piece of the backcourt.
The serve receive working well for both teams so far, but as I say that, it will be Claire Castor picking up an ace. Her first of this third set.
First of the third set, second of the game. She just has such a nice jump float. It's very hard to pick up. Oh, this one's going to be blown dead.
There's a ball on the court. I don't know how exactly that happened.
Well, it's coming in again. So we have two lovely volunteers from the athletics department who sit on the sideline to make sure that there's always 3 balls in circulation, the one game ball that's in play plus 1 at either end of the corner, and rolling them back and forth, just messing up the roll there. Might need to take some practice down at the bowling alley
I was about to say,
before the next game.
You have a bowling team they can go practice with? Looks like Claire Castor's rolling here in this third and a second straight service ace. $3-0 to open up this third set. What has been a much stronger start to a set than the Jumbos have had so far here today. Another strong serve from Castor that grazed the net. Will be able to be picked up by McCarthy. And now Tori Golden with a strong cross shot. A brilliant effort by Jago to keep that one up. That ball went really high up into the air. Farragher shot is tipped. Recovered here, and Kafuzi sends it down. But it's picked up by the Jumbos. Farragher once again, it hits the pin. They rule it did not touch a bantam hand. And so Trinity gets their first point of this third.
Yeah, kind of the first complete point that we have seen so far in the set, with both teams getting the opportunity to take an attack. Kafuzi was previously just unblocked any time that she'd gone up to swing, but right there after having the last hitting attempt she had get blocked by Julia Griffiths, taking everything a little bit off of it. Love to see them go back to the aggressive ways that they had them in that back and forth pointage in set number 1.
Nice block by Farragher and Chi. Craig, who shot that one, is able to keep it alive. Now a free ball here for the Jumbos. Gregory looks right to the middle. Chi on the tip. Kept alive here by Jago. Jumbos with another shot. Chi once again picked up by the Trinity libero. And another long rally here in this third set. Tori Golden sends it down, and not even the blocks are able to keep that one up.
Yeah, in a setter out situation like that, typically everyone would expect the libero to just try and make the easier pass of going in front of her. But Meg Harrison has had too much experience as a libero throughout her volleyball career to know that you can't just do that every time. Gives the ball back to Golden. The block not able to close in time. That should be an ace.
Another strong serve. That ball just died on its way over the net by Alina Chi. And the Bantams were not prepared for it. Alina Chi, that's her third service ace of this game. 5-1 right now in favor of the Jumbos. Tori Golden on a hard angle shot. It's kept alive. The blocks being a factor, but I think that one just hit the net off the swing from Lekovic.
Yeah, the Jumbos, quick timeout going to be called here by the Bantams. Not going to wait for the later point situations like they did in the previous 2 sets to try and take the timeout, regroup, recover. I have to imagine this comes at the hands of the Jumbos shifting the defense to better match what had been working for the Bantams in the first couple of sets, and ultimately what stopped working for them at the end points. They were not getting the passes that they needed in order to have competitive swings at the end of set number 2. That's what ultimately drew them to being in this position down 2-0. And they've been trying to get back to those right side hitters, having those lefties take the shots necessary. However, the Jumbos have changed the defense up a little bit, shifted the block in to try and take away the hard angle and the normal cross shot, and whoever is playing in that 5-spot defense, whether it be Meg Harrison in at libero or in this case Alina Chi as the serving middle when she's in that position, coming all the way up to the line, planting their left foot right on the line even, knowing exactly whether, like being in the exact position that if the ball gets hit hard down the line, they're about 2/3 of the way back. They can easily make a pass, just try and do anything there. Or if it's a tip play, you can see whether or not it's going to be inbounds or not, and you have plenty of time to make the moves in front of you, plenty of space if you need to dive to try and pick up any tip that might come down the line. That type of defensive change against these left-handed hitters is going to be crucial and for the rest of the game, and has proven worthwhile so far in set number 3.
These small adjustments that have been helping out the Jumbos so far. The defense has been something that they have needed to work on in terms of digs compared to last year. And it looks like that's helping once again. Riley Farragher with a hammer of a cross.
I'm a little lost for words at the moment. That was just something beautiful to see coming off the hands of Farragher. Basically no block against her, as there was that large of a seam between the middle blocker and the outside blocker. And yeah, if you give a hitter like Riley Farragher that much space to work with, she will find the floor.
Chi's service run unfortunately coming to an end, as it is now 7-2 in favor of Tufts. They give Farragher another opportunity, this time with a little less on the power department, just rolling it right over to where the Trinity Bantams did not stand.
Yeah, it's just a great adjustment there by Farragher. The set a little low. She was playing out more towards the pin to try and have that aggressive angle coming in, to have a harder angle in her swing. Set a little low, too far inside, making the adjustment, realizing she can't swing on that or she'll hit it into the net, going for an aggressive power tip, finds a hole. I mean, these past couple of points by her have been incredible.
And Rihanna Liu now making another service ace for the Jumbos. That's been something that we haven't necessarily seen a lot of from Tufts in years past, but this year with Caster and now Rihanna Liu, even Chi now getting in on the action, has certainly been a difference in the play style here for Tufts.
Yeah, usually from any team that we kind of see down here in Division 3, the amount of service aces per set is typically between that 1 to 2 range, usually in like a 1.5 to 1.7 type of a range. If the game ended right now without the Jumbos ever serving again, they'd be averaging 3, nearly double the average of what we see. So right now, service game from the Jumbos has been on point.
Heckman hammers that one down. Another example of just the power that these first years have had on this Jumbo lineup.
You have to wonder, as the Bantams, the Jumbos, whenever they run this combo play where they have the middle hitter go all the way to the right side and the right side curl in for a 2-ball in the middle, the ball's never gone to that slide move. At what point do you just read the ball stays to the middle, and if the Jumbos decide to change things up, just roll with it? Wow, what a block.
As our friend Henry Stahl once said, a big block by Bennett puts the Jumbos to an 11-3 lead.
Yeah, the Jumbos are just running everything perfectly right now. They've made the adjustments to the right side hitter. They've made the adjustments to middles, having 2 blockers instead of 1 against them. It's just everything playing perfectly so far.
Craig with a strong swing, kept alive by Liu. Golden with the second. And Caster almost able to send it over when what would have been a terrific defensive showcase. But
Yeah.
it will be Tufts ceding that point back over to the Bantams.
Just trying to put a little too much on it was Caster. And it's funny because in this case, putting a little too much on it is actually putting too little. Trying to just make the harder play for the Bantams to recover to. If the ball just barely gets over, making one of those hitters against the line have to make the first pass, basically takes them out of a hitting situation. Would have rather seen her just try and get the ball over, keep the play going.
Quick attack to Bennett, sails out of bounds. Trinity making their way back here slowly but surely. 11-5 now the score. It's a position that they haven't been in so far in this game, an early deficit.
Yeah, would love to see them bounce back, take the couple of points that they've been given from Jumbo's errors and roll with them. But we highlighted this earlier. You know, a lot of these Bantams have super aggressive float-style serves where they try and get as little height above and below the net as possible in order to try and maximize that ace-to-error ratio, try and get Jumbo defense serve receive off guard. And sometimes it works. Sometimes you hit it into the net and stop what needs to be a run as the Jumbos are halfway to the finish line.
Meg Harrison on the serve. Overpass there by Jago gives the Jumbos an opportunity. Abba Ibe, who's entered the game, I think for the first time in a while, picks up her first kill of this game.
Yeah, I believe this might actually be the first time that we have seen her in her freshman campaign, and that'll be the first kill for her. 1 swing, 1 attempt. She leads the Jumbos now in hitting percentage with 1,000.
Some good numbers. They don't lie. McCarthy is picked up there by Harrison. They go to Castor on the left side. A nice dig from Kayla David. Keeps it up for the Bantams. Lou over to Castor. Finds the pin, but it's on the block. The Jumbos once again striking.
Yeah, and this is a huge adjustment that we've seen come out from Claire Castor from yesterday's game against the Cardinals to today. Yesterday, she wasn't having the greatest reads against the block. The line shot was taken away. It's her favorite shot to go to so far, it seems, in her collegiate career. But the Bantams are giving it, so she's got all the opportunity in the world to take her favorite swing and roll.
Ball landing just on the line. Trinity picking up their 6th point of this set. As some substitutions come back in, we see Kafuzi making her way to the front row. This has been a formation where the Bantams have been able to survive, and now with Apa Ibe coming in to that middle blocker position, a little bit less height, we'll see if that ends up being a factor. Not on that play, though, as Emma Heckman just finds a beautiful opening right there over the hands of the blockers.
Yeah, we see a mix of a couple of things coming into play there. You have a player who's kind of getting her first minutes in the collegiate scene, doing a great job calling for the ball. Perfect pass out of serve receive. Apa Ibe wanting the ball, calling for it. Middle blocker, Kafuzi for the Bantams. Thought the ball was going to go there, so couldn't come back in time. Wow, that's a great save.
There you go, keeping that one up. Kafuzi sends it over, but it's out of bounds. The Jumbos, once again, finding a point. They lead by double digits now.
Yeah, the Bantams being in their favorite 3 rotations, timeout coming in, their final one of the set. They're in their 3 strongest rotations, we would argue, as Kafuzi has been the better of the 2 middles so far today in terms of both blocking and hitting. But they're really 1 rotation away from their dream setup, where they have both Kafuzi and Lekovic in to have that boosted height against the Jumbo outside hitters in terms of their own block, and also just the 2 most prolific hitters so far today. They really just need a side out right here. Come out of the timeout, win 1 point, get to their best 2 rotations, and try and create whatever run they can while they have those 2 players in at the front row at the same time.
It's been a little bit of a push and pull from both of these teams so far, as Trinity has been able to come out to early leads in both of the first 2 sets, but the Jumbos have struck back. This time, it's been all push, no pull, as the Jumbos really just striking early. And now, with a 10-point cushion, 2-set cushion, here in this 3rd set, they're deciding to bring out some of their younger players here. We saw Apa Ibe get some time. We now see Bridget Lonergan also, I believe, getting her first set this weekend at least. She's had a couple of other opportunities to play, but now a little bit of an extended run late in this 3rd.
Yeah, when things were competitive, it was kind of questionable whether or not you can start to go to that deep of a bench, especially with yesterday's game being as competitive as possible. Maybe you do try to get some more players in, going back-to-back games do need a little bit of rest, but at this point with a 10-point lead and no signs of slowing down, this is the perfect opportunity for the Jumbos to get some of those freshmen a lot of experience.
You said Trinity needed a side out. They just found it. Kafuzi able to do what she has done throughout this entire season, although this might be in a losing effort. That is her 4th kill on just 10 swings.
But now the Bantams have entered their favorite rotations. They've gone back to their what we'll call technically primary setter in Caroline Howell, as she does lead the team in assists and has been typically the setter to start. They got Lekovic back in as well.
And that's a kill for Lonergan.
I believe that's the first one of her collegiate career as well. She's in now playing that right side position. Slowly but surely, Andrew, I think we might end up with an all-freshman lineup coming out by the end of the set.
Definitely have the pieces to do it. Kafuzi's shot lands out of bounds. The Jumbos take an 11-point lead here, 18-17. They got Castor, Apa Ibe, Lonergan out right now. We'll see if any other new additions come in as we continue on here in this 3rd set. Nice receive by David, keeps it up. Lekovic shot lands right on the corner. They might have ruled a tip, I wasn't entirely sure, but a point for Trinity nonetheless.
Yeah, that ball just came zipping at Meg Harrison, realized it was going out, tried to pull back. Line judge going to say that it did hit off of her. seemed a little confused. Regardless, the Jumbos still trying to protect this 10-point lead, trying to close out what will be a dominant third set if they do. On the other side of things, the Bantams need to have their run here while they still have Kofuzi and Lekovic in at the same time.
A strong swing there by Lonergan, but it gets picked up by the back line. Apaibe almost finds a kill, but instead she contributes to a block with her freshman counterpart. Back row attack, Claire Castor gets picked up here by Trinity. They go once again to Lekovic, and Harrison's not able to pick that one up.
Yeah, so while they have her in there, they need to use that right side effectively. As I highlighted earlier, the Jumbos are giving the line shot over to the lefty and just trying to have Meg Harrison pick that one up. But that one just coming in way too hot to try and take with hands. Needs to take a step back, try and pass with the forearms to keep the ball up in the air. If it hits the hands, it's just going to go down. Yeah, just a great swing coming out overall by the Bantams. They're looking to keep things going.
Golden shot is blocked. The Jumbos are able to keep it alive off a nice dig from Harrison. Lonergan shot lands out of bounds. Trinity keeping themselves within striking distance. It's only an 8-point lead now for the Jumbos. And another error on that swing. Apaibe not able to find with a shot within the margins right there, as Trinity working a pretty decent service run for so far.
Yeah, just some small errors in terms of set height right now coming out by the Jumbos. Minor adjustments, easy to fix. And then they'll start to get back to their aggressive swinging ways.
Golden will answer, and that ends the service run from freshman Bella Nash, who entered this third set for the first time. Bennett coming in, replacing Harrison, as Apaibe makes her way to the backcourt. Shot right down the line. It is Lekovic that finds the kill. Line judge ruling that one in bounds.
Yeah, that's kind of the dream situation if you're Lekovic. Libero's off right now. You're being given that line shot right to where she should be. Instead, it's a middle whose primary job is not really to pass. Don't even need to zip one in there. Just needs to be competitive. That should be 4 contacts before the ball even has an attempt to move forward.
And that was just a really nice synchronized attack right there for the Jumbos. You saw 2 hitters come up at the same time. Trinity really didn't know where that one was going. Now, substitutions coming back in. It is 2 more freshmen entering the game. It's Rihanna Liu and Emma Heckman, who have played the majority of this match. Lekovic has been the primary offensive source for this Bantams team in the third set. Picks up another kill. However, with her being on that right side, she will be subbed out for Sullivan, who has re-entered the game, as they bring back Ellie Gordon from the sophomore back to the front.
Yeah, Lekovic recording 11 kills today. Might be stuck at that number with the Jumbos so close to coming back. Bantams would need to have an incredible run/side-out opportunity in order to get her back in. But the Jumbos just playing too smart, not trying to do a whole lot more than what is necessary to get a point. Little scrappy play there from Golden, just going to shove the ball off of the block. And, yeah, I mean, there's nothing more to it. The Jumbos are now in a preferred rotation setup where they don't have to be concerned with Lekovic. They don't need to be concerned with Kofuzi. And they just need to put together a nice little run right here.
Ellie Gordon sends it over. Harrison over to Liu. They go right down the middle. Bennett. Shot gets dug up. They go with the setter dump from Grace Sullivan. Any way that they can find points right now, they got to find it.
Yeah, smart play by Sullivan there. Not a single Jumbo ready for that one. With your team behind you, do need either one of 2 things to come in for you. You need some sort of a smart, aggressive play like what we just saw with the setter dump in order to get 1 point, have the service come back, make your rotation so that you can try and get some of your better hitters in. Or you just need to have a super aggressive swing. And they've been going to that swing option more often than not. The Jumbos fully prepared for it on that last one, just did not come into fruition.
McCarthy, who just enters the game, gets dug out by Golden. They go to Castor on the cross, and it lands right on the line. Jumbo's 3 points away from a 3-0 victory.
So Claire Castor established the line shot early on with just an incredible, really hard hit down the line. The second that got established, the Bantams completely changed their block setup against her, take away the line shot, but then they reopen up the hard angle shot, trying to go from 4 to 4, and Castor going right back to it on that last one. Had plenty of reps on it yesterday. She's definitely comfortable with it, despite the fact that it's a rather hard shot to take.
Heckman from that right side, and it lands right on the line.
Bantam's just starting to look a little defeated. It's not over yet. They really just have to try and side out right here, make the rotation, have Kafuzi come back in. Can't let this one get up. You can't not make an effort at a ball that looks like it might hit the back line. Gotta take those risks.
Nice dig by Rihanna Liu. Keeps the swing from Gordon within play. Castor's shot sailing right out of bounds as Trinity gets another opportunity.
That has to be the one right here. You don't have the room to give up any more points with the Jumbos sitting 2 points away from closing out a sweep. Gonna make some substitutions. Kafuzi is back in at middle, or at least was, as a substitution has now come in. Pardon me, got the hiccups there. Believe that was number 3 coming in, Chloe Gentile.
Vive Sots gets sent over. They go to that right side once again, but it lands out of bounds. And so Ellie Gordon unable to maintain that service run for the Bantams. Match point for Tufts as they send Zoe Gregory back to serve. Sullivan looks right down the middle. A block shot, but Jago keeps it up. They go over to Maggie Barnes, who enters this game, as Gregory will look to Golden. Her swing down the middle just finds the line, and that'll do it. The Tufts win this one in 3 sets, each one more dominant than the last. 25-19, 25-18, and this one 25-15.
Yeah, just a great 3-set sweep coming out from the Jumbos. Set number 3, of course, being the icing on top from what was a really hard-fought first 2. The Bantams really stayed in it all the way through until the end of both the first and second sets. Just found themselves in a rough rotation matchup. And right here in the third, just got outswung by the Jumbos the whole way through. You look through the stat sheets and you see players, you know, nearing that double-digit mark. Tori Golden at the end might have hit it with her 10th. Question as to whether or not the live stats that we have coming in are fully up to date or not. Looks like they are, so she's only at 9, but still hit 333 on the day. Riley Farragher also having 9, but what really gets highlighted to me is players like Emma Heckman, who's been on an absolute tear the past couple of games. 8 kills for herself for a perfect 500 record. Doesn't really get much better than that, only committing the 1 hitting error. And then you also have Claire Castor, who contributed 7 kills of her own. The 4 service aces cannot be forgotten, and also reaching double-digit digs as well, just kind of doing every aspect that you would need as an outside hitter to completely wrap up that game.
You normally look to these stat sheets and try to find a standout performer. You don't really see many, Jordan, as every Jumbo who touched the court played their own role in this 3-set victory, which is a nice bounce back after, you know, Tufts have lost their last 2 matchups, and now with a win over Trinity, they'll have 2 more non-conference games over this next weekend before they go back into the swing of things with a big weekend for homecoming weekend coming up in just 7 days. That's going to do it here for our coverage. For now, we're going to step aside for a short break. When we come back, we'll see if we have an interview with a member of the winning Tufts Jumbos.
You're so hypnotic, magical. don't wanna let you know you're so hypnotic, magical. Don't wanna let you know you're so hypnotic, magical. You're so hypnotic, magical. Don't wanna let you know you're so hypnotic, magical.
Hello and welcome back to JumboCast. We got a post-game interview for you guys featuring some of the newer faces for the Jumbos. We got two freshman pin hitters coming out. Emma Heckman on your far left, Claire Castor sitting. You're standing right next to me. Guys, you just completed a 3-set sweep over Trinity in a NESCAC matchup. Yesterday, getting swept against by Wesleyan in a very hard-fought 3-0. No time in the middle to kind of practice, just one game back to the next. How did you guys kind of take yesterday's loss, learn from it, and immediately come into today's game?
I think just kind of taking it as a learning moment, resetting our minds, realizing today's a new day, and then going back to work and getting all of our digs, sets, hits. I thought everything was a lot more cohesive, like as a team. So I think that was the biggest thing.
Yeah, I think the mental and physical composure, I think, was the main aspect that we might have been missing a little bit yesterday. So bringing that all together and, you know, supporting our whole team and everything has really brought the win today, I think.
Well, you guys definitely seem to adapt, putting together, you know, a very solid campaign today. Emma, we're going to jump to you. You have been on an absolute tear. Out in the West Coast, you had 25 kills in the 3 games that you played. Today, 8 kills, hitting 500 on the day. You know, you're coming in as a freshman, filling some big shoes from some pretty legendary right-side hitters that the Jumbos have had the past couple of seasons. how would you consider coming into this lineup and, you know, playing for this team, and how does that translate to your success from the right side?
I think just, you know, the support of the whole team. Everyone's always bringing you up, no matter if you just got a kill or an error. You know, there's always support around you, and we're all cheering for each other, and that just really creates a great team atmosphere where everyone can work their hardest and do their best.
Awesome, absolutely love that. And Claire, kind of a similar situation for you. The previous Jumbo to wear number 17 was Janelle Yarwood, who last season was first team all NESCAC, having an amazing season herself. And you kind of come in and just shocked on every side of the ball. If you look at today's stats alone, 7 kills, 4 aces, double-digit digs. You've kind of just been doing everything. Kind of just give a little bit insight onto how you can play so well from just anywhere across the court.
I think really just the biggest thing is ball control, and then obviously my teammates make it very easy. Everyone out on the court wants to win, wants to play well, wants to perform well. So just kind of taking from their energy, it really helps fuel my game and make me want to succeed for my teammates.
Awesome that. I mean, it's worked. You guys have really pieced everything together, and, you know, again, great game today, 3-0 win. That's going to do it from us here. Thank you guys so much for joining us, and to everyone at home, as always, stay home safely.
So hypnotic, magical.